septic tank cleaner. I can still give you my spiel. Eliminates odors, large chunks, and wet spots.
Oh.
About the time I got to, we started calling from Maine and called across the country. And by the time I got to Kentucky, we hit some very strange people, including one guy who said, "Want to help me with my wet spot, baby?" It was fairly horrible, but I really didn't want to sell this stuff. It was grossly overpriced, and people would buy it because they were lonely. And one guy told me how much he missed his wife, and then he said, "I'll take it." And I thought, I can't do this. And so I said, "Are you sure?" And the manager who was listening in said, "Sell it, you idiot." So I sold it. I wasn't proud, but I needed the job. I was cursed from coast to coast for that particular job, and I seemed to have a real knack of getting people when they were either in the shower or going to bed. If you want to get rid of a telemarketer, please don't yell at them. I'll tell you, first of all, they don't deserve it, but secondly, there's a button that's called callback. And if you tick us off, we hit that button. And you get a call every hour.
Oh dear.
So just say, take me off this list. It really, it's much simpler for all concerned. For Just Murdered, I worked at Zola Keller's in the bridal department.
Just over here.
I know.
I love Zola. I think we'd have peace in the Middle East if we had Zola. She could handle the most difficult brides. I don't understand what it is about intelligent women, but you put an engagement ring on their fingers and something crosses in their brain.
Elaine, what's that book called again? What's the title?
Just Murdered.
Just Murdered.
Right.
Thank you.
And this bride comes in and she's got a baggie, and in the baggie are two carpet, it looks like two threads, two carpet fibers, and they're in a green, a pale green shade. And she says, "I want to see my bridesmaid dresses." Now these are $3,000 dresses, so we don't say they're celery green, we call them celandine. And I bring them out, and I thought the dresses were beautiful. And the bride holds up those fibers and she goes, "They don't match. My wedding's ruined."
Oh, God.
And I said, "They don't match what?" And she said, "They don't match the hotel carpet."
Oh, no.
So I knew this was way over my head, and I got Zola. And I told her, and Zola comes charging out, and she says, "Honey, what's the matter?" And the bride goes, "They don't match." And Zola said, "Match? You don't want it to match? That's so Kmart. It has to be at least 2 shades off." And the bride said, "Oh, it's exactly 2 shades off. You saved my wedding." Now, I also saw a fight there, and I've been married 40 years. And I saw this husband and wife, and the wife came out in what I thought was a nice blue dress. And the husband said, "How much is that?" And she said, $500. And he said, "Don't you ever wear another cheap dress like that again. You make me look bad. I want you to go back and spend at least $5,000. I'm still waiting for that fight with my husband. We fought about everything. We have never had that fight.
Oh dear. I don't know who said that. Yes.
Now, Murder Unleashed. For that one, I worked at a dog boutique called Bon Appetit. And
that was on Federal Highway.
That was on Federal Highway, yeah. And I'm a cat person, but I work there. And this woman comes in, and she looks like Paris Hilton's going to look in about another 30 years. Facelifted Botox. And I think her dress, you could buy it by the inch. There was so little of it. And she had a young man with her that I thought was her son home from college. And she walks up to the dog, to the back where all the dog collars are. And she picked a dog collar that was black leather with studs on it. And she said to me, "I want this for him." And I said, "Ah." And so Mark, the owner, comes out and he goes, "No, Lucinda, everybody gets that for their boy toy. Get the plain black one." And I thought, what world is this where everybody's got a boy toy with a collar? Where have I been? That's Murder Unleashed. And I also felt much kinder after I worked there toward those little fluffy dogs, the little white ones, which I think look like dust mops without handles. Yeah. And they yap. The woman says to me, she said, "This dog is the only thing that listens to me. I have a husband and a teenage son. This dog keeps me sane." And I thought, okay, it's not useless. It has a purpose. Now, for my next book was Murder with Reservations. For that one, I worked as a hotel maid.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Did you ever meet a man from Paris?
No, but our great fear was that we would meet a naked man. So we pounded on those doors because, as the woman who trained me said, the ones you want to see naked are the ones you never want to see naked. But for that job, I cleaned I made 38 beds a day. I cleaned 17 toilets and the honeymoon jacuzzi.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Until you have cleaned whipped cream and chocolate out of a jacuzzi, you do not live, folks. And this is their honeymoon. What's going to happen after they're married a while? Really? And I was kind of worried about it.
Nothing.
Nothing. That's an example. But the thing I found it was that the biggest slobs are businessmen. We also had construction workers who stayed at this hotel. They were really nice, and they left us their beer because they couldn't bring it on the plane. So we liked them a whole lot. Businessmen are slobs. They're the worst. They really are. I mean, we had one guy who used to eat sunflower seeds, and then he would open the drawer and spit them into the drawer.
No.
I mean, it was just gross beyond belief. I was amazed. Also, people shed like dogs, a lot of hair. The other book that I did was Club to Death. For that one, I worked at a country club.
Oh.
I handled, I won't tell you where, but it was in South Florida.